We're talking education right now, and a national mentoring scheme that's getting more black state-educated young people to apply for elite universities is calling for students in Derbyshire and East Staffordshire to apply. The deadline's just a few days away. The scheme is called Target Oxbridge. It's helped 50% of its applicants to secure offers at Oxford and Cambridge universities this year and wants to do better this time around. Last week, 3 of the Target Oxbridge applicants received offers from Oxbridge. We've got 2 of them joining us on the line tonight, along with the programme coordinator. Welcome to Daniel Stone, Kalm Paul Christian and Alexandra Wilson. How are you all doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi there. Daniel, Kalm and Alexander. Who have I got first? Is that Daniel?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. So tell us a bit about accessibility for black students on this particular scheme that you're running, Daniel.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is trying to encourage students in the first place to be brave enough to make the application. I think a lot of students assume that Oxford or Cambridge isn't for people of their background. So I think the first thing we try to do is to make them realise that if they have the drive and the ambition and the grades necessary, then we can basically help them to fulfil their potential by supporting them through mentoring and things like subject choice and mock interviews. So it really is our job just to help nurture the potential that a lot of these students already have.
Well, as the programme coordinator, what about the fees, Daniel? Because the cost of Oxbridge is not the kind of money that many of us can afford. I've got a piece of paper in front of me with the headline, Student Sues Oxford College Over Selection by Wealth Policy, and this is only last week's Sunday paper.
Yeah, so I think that particular student, was applying for a postgraduate course. I think our program is focused primarily on students who are like undergraduate students who will face the fees of £9,000 that are identical to other elite universities in this country. But one great thing that both Oxford and Cambridge do is that they have some of the most extensive support in terms of bursaries and financial help. So, for example, if you apply to Oxford University, they'll not only give you money once you get into university, but they'll also kind of take a chunk off the £9,000 fee before you even start attending. So it does kind of turn out that Oxford and Cambridge are some of the most cost-effective universities to attend.
And what about that transition and adjustment to the type of environment? How are you able to help students with that?
I think a lot of the things we'll do in that instance is just trying to get the students to be confident and comfortable in themselves. I think a lot of people do get a perception of Oxford being very elitist, and having recently graduated from Oxford, I can tell you that isn't the case. And even if you do kind of meet people who are from different backgrounds, most of them are really open to kind of learning about your culture and your background and the unique things that you can offer to Oxford University as well. So I think we'll definitely just encourage the students to be themselves and to enjoy university, and I'm sure they'll make friends and have a really great time.
What did you graduate in, Daniel?
So I studied economics and management.
Okay, I know how hard that is. I'm doing PPE part-time myself at the minute. Let's talk to Alexandra. Alexandra?
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
What are you studying?
PPE.
Oh, right. Well, we've got something in common there. What are your ambitions? Are you going to be the next Prime Minister, first female black Prime Minister?
Well, I do actually hope so.
Okay. I don't know if I can ask anything else now. You've answered it all, haven't you? What made you choose this route then?
Well, I've always been interested in humanities and maths, and I wanted a course that incorporated both. And I've always enjoyed a challenge, and PPE, as you all know, is a very challenging degree course. It's one of the most oversubscribed at Oxford, and I thought, well, why not go for that challenge? It was a course that looked very appealing to me. The 3 subjects I enjoyed. I studied politics at AS level, and so I thought, why not give it a go? Yes,
politics, philosophy and economics, we should explain for anybody who's not familiar with the shorthand we're using. What about support from your mentor in this? How helpful is that for you?
They've been absolutely brilliant. The mentors have given us the confidence to apply. I think I always wanted to apply to Oxford University, but sometimes within school, like teachers particularly, sometimes have doubted whether I should have applied. It was sort of like, is it a bit ambitious to go for Oxford? Obviously, the newspapers are always talking about how black and ethnic minorities are underrepresented there, that perhaps there's this prejudice against them. So it was a massive confidence boost to have a mentor there who was able to explain to me that there are black and mixed race people that do actually go to Oxford, and that it's about your academic ability. It's not about the colour of your skin.
All right, well, congrats with that. And
Thank you.
remember, I want an interview when you become Prime Minister, okay?
Of course.
All right, lovely. Let's talk with Kalm, Paul Christian. You're an African-Caribbean student.
Hi, yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you today?
Yeah, excellent, thank you. Now, I understand that you've got over a recent bereavement as well as taking this on. How helpful has the mentoring scheme been for you at this time?
I think... Sorry. The mentoring has been invaluable to me in my application, in the sense that the extra support they could give me, I couldn't get anywhere else. I mean, my family always supported me, and my friends. The shout out to the Leytonstone boys who always were there for me, as well as my mum, my sister, everyone. But more importantly, even though they always supported me, believing that I could do it, they didn't have access to the resources or knowledge of the field I was going into that my mentor had. So being able to speak to him directly, to get in touch with Oxford admissions, Cambridge admissions, and just be walked through and guided on the path to creating a strong application, which elsewhere I wasn't able to get. I think I'm not going to... I owe where I am to a lot of people, but my mentor specifically, I'm in a lot of debt to, because without that kind of support, I don't think I'd be where I am.
What are you studying, Daniel? Sorry, Kalm?
I'm going to be studying history.
Okay, and what's your ambitions from there?
From history, I'm going to do a law conversion and hopefully go to the bar. And then from there, well, I have a lot more dreams there. I won't announce just in case. But...
All right. Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much, you guys, for joining us on the line to tell us all about this Oxbridge scheme. If people are interested, what's the procedure, Daniel? How do they go about it? Is it an email, a phone?
Yeah, so there's further details on the application process through our website, which is www.targetoxbridge.co.uk. And as you said, applications close this Thursday, and there'll be further details on the website.
So that's www.targetoxbridge.co.uk.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. We're going to get a local perspective right now from Richard Payne from Derby Grammar School. Good evening. Thanks for holding on, Richard. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine, thank you.
Brilliant. So, describe the scheme that you run in the city, which helps inner-city pupils from black and ethnic minorities, please.
We work, obviously, largely with our own students, etc. What we've tried to do over the last 2 or 3 years is build some consistent links with some feeder schools into our sixth form. Particularly, we've had some very good students come through from Sinfin school, and coming through our sixth form, they've been able to go on and achieve tremendously well with their A-levels and get into colleges of their choices, which is obviously very pleasing for us and gives a really good pathway on for students into higher education, and then obviously opens up any number of careers afterwards.
So is this kind of initiative part of the idea we hear in government, particularly in education, that high-achieving schools can help schools that maybe aren't as easily hitting their targets?
I'm not consciously in a way, but I think that's actually a very, very important point, and certainly the two students and Daniel from Target Oxbridge mentioned any number of things that I would pick up on. One of the key things is just an experience and, if you like, a heritage within an institution or within your background, which gives you the chance to believe that you could get there. And, if you've got people guiding you with an experience of Oxbridge or medical schools or whatever it is, then you can believe that you can achieve it as well. And I think that the courage to believe, in a sense, is one of the really important things for students setting off down this path, because you have to realise that if you're going for law, or if you're going for medicine, if you're going for Oxbridge, if you're going for top engineering schools, you're likely to have to produce 3 A's at A-level, and that is never easy. For however bright you are, that's never going to be easy. And so in a sense, the courage to set off down that road with experience and mentoring and so on really, really helps. It gives people who, in a sense, wouldn't necessarily have dared to dream the chance to get on and have a go.
And in the 30 seconds or so before the news, I understand that people are able to get scholarships to schools like Derby Grammar School if they're not able to find the funds to go there in the normal route.
Absolutely, and I'm sure other independent schools have that. We have a very good bursary scheme, particularly coming into the sixth form, which for the most able students can give full remission of fees. Now, those are, for the most able students, but they are the students that have the opportunity, in a sense, to go on to Oxbridge. And certainly it's a great opportunity for them, and also a great privilege for us to be able to work with people of that calibre and hopefully allow them to fulfil their dreams.
Richard Payne, Head from Derby Grammar School, thank you very much for joining us on tonight's programme to explain how locally students can access these higher education institutions. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Heading towards the news at 9. So, that web address, targetoxbridge.co.uk, if you want to get onto the Oxbridge scheme. And as Richard mentioned there, Derby Grammar School do operate bursaries for the most able students locally to access those education streams as well.